happening right now. Sonic Wave is there, it's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Malice have got the Baron.
Beautiful. We've reached the halfway mark for the first day back for the LCO. And I'm hungry, so I'll probably deliver myself some Menulog at some point this game, maybe. But other than that, we've got more goods being delivered, and it's Order and Chiefs going head-to-head. This is the matchup we were talking about as potentially the game of the day. And look, both of these teams, they've got fresh faces on the lineups. They've got players coming in fresh over the weekend or like on Thursday last week, so they haven't had a whole lot of time to get reps in. So who knows which way this one's going to go, Skimmy.
Yeah, quite honestly, really curious to see sort of what those power rankings actually look like, because we talk about the middle of the pack being quite close and it has obviously those variables. You could make a case for the top side too. Perhaps you've got too many chefs in the kitchen, too many voices, too many carry threats. Perhaps that is an argument for Order, which have a lot of these standout players that pretty much picked up every accolade we had to throw at them for LCO 2021. But then you look at the Chiefs and go, these are proven players with years of experience, international at that. Lots have played together before, if not are friends. So when they all come together in a week 1 scenario, is this what we can expect by, say, week 10?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Order has sent in some of the good goods, some of that golden content. So take a look at this video.
I know we grew up a little too fast. I miss the days that we chill and relax. Where did the time go?
All of the Order fans in the chat will rejoice.
Had no worries, but always had
It's a massive win for them.
The trash, now it's much harder to laugh. Hard to get up and then work on my craft. I need inspiration, don't need no validation. No more.
There is a nice ulti in from Sapper, but now Gravitas are up the creek without apparel. Kisei holds over the wall, jumps over the wall, kills everyone, does everything. And Luke just walks away to live another day, not even below half HP.
I just wanna run away on vacation.
A 1-for-1 regardless though, because that means that the Rumble is definitely the Frostbite. Second, he gets some shot down. People getting knocked up. Puma's trying to do everything he can from afar. He might just take the ball. He certainly will. He did today.
It'll be big for Kevy. Mega Inferno Bomb combined with Kevy's Smite.
Nobody else smites Kevy when he actually has Smite.
I just wanna numb the pain. I just wanna run away. I don't know what else to say.
俺には必ず負けないはずですが、ついにアンダーアルティメットでキルに届いた。
For a fight app, he's just about to tick Mega here, has no flash.
Goes to your ult from Peace so far, looking to zone away 1. Is Appy, is he knocked back? The chains connect, Red have zoned away, but he can hit the arrows from afar, and the arrows connect, Hello's gone, he's untouched, he has so much range, it just does not matter, a second kill here found by Biopanther. Peace are capitulating, they're getting wiped.
I don't know what else to say now. I just need to numb the pain.
Surprisingly, Maximize didn't look too pleased about that one. But look, I guess you got to watch the video, and here's the lineup once more, Rusty. I heard your voice in there with a little backhanded compliment. What's going on?
Yeah, shout out to Kevy, who doesn't miss smites when he actually has it. So, look, let's hope he has smites when he's going for Smite Fight, shall we? So I may not have to say that ever again. Biopanther, of course, the top laner, so Pentanet.gg, they bring him over, and this is an exciting prospect for me, and this team overall, as we go down the rest of the roster, is super, super exciting for very different reasons to someone like the Chiefs who we're going to next. It's that Bio is a staple, experienced player. I think Kevy is a very level-headed jungler as well, very calm nature, it feels like, whenever we speak to him. And then you've got the wild, absolutely wild unit in mid lane of Kisei, right? With Puma, who is known to be absolutely unleashed at times. And then Corporal rounding that around, who I think is like the all-rounder of all of those personalities kind of into one. And I think that's a really nice meshing of personalities that should have you excited for what Order can provide.
So you think chemistry is key here for Order, because there's strength all across the board there. But Skimmy, would you say there is one point that's stronger than another on this roster?
I'd be looking at mid and jungle in particular. You look at Kevy, who racked up so many kills, third overall at 101, which is absolutely absurd. You look at Kisei, who picked up, I believe, 131, the most of anybody in Split 2. So you put those two together and you know exactly what you're going to get. Explosive mid-jungle matchups. They're going to be contesting every crab, every 2v2, every fight that presents itself. They're going for it. Pretty much like Rusty said, Kisei is a madman. He's more unleashed than a teleport at 14 minutes because he's finding fights before that mark.
Well, we got to see one of these crazy recipes, but I've heard that the Chiefs have a recipe for success as well. So let's have a quick look at their lineup. And Rusty, you want to tell me who these guys are, why everyone should already know them, and what they're going to do this split?
Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of Oceanic exports that have returned bar Dragku, right? If you actually go down the list, Topoon, Korean, came to Oceania, won the league, went over to the NA Academy, and is now back. Arthur was formerly known as Mir, starts in Avant Gaming in 2019, heads back over to the LCK with Hammer Life, returns to the LCO now in 2022. Tally does a very similar thing. North America, Rays the exact same. And there's just so many star-studded players on this team, so many titles and so much tenure between every single one of them. But there's just so many reasons to be absolutely stoked that we get to see this group of 5 compete in any capacity. And the number one player that I think we have to always look at first is the one on your screen. It's Arthur. The fact that we had someone literally in the LCK come over. This is not just a Korean import like we usually have, right? Where we get an amateur player come over and try and, you know, show their ability to play before being taken over somewhere, which is what he did. He came back. So now we have an LCK experienced veteran with so much information, knowledge, and infrastructure backing him personally that he gets to bring to the Chiefs, which might level them up even beyond what we expect.
Now, is this the team, Skimmy, that I heard had some ridiculous amount of competitive experience, like 26 to 30 years of experience between
Mac,
them?
I tell you what, it's just absolutely absurd. The only team that even comes close is Pentnet at 21 years. Yes, this team, sub included, which is Babip, has 26 years of competitive experience. They've played this game in many cases older than they actually are, which is just crazy. They've got 12 titles between them. And let me just chuck this in here. Babip has 4 titles alone, more than any other team active in this league. So he's just
sub.
He's chilling on the sidelines saying, I mean, he's like the Michael Jordan with all the rings, just saying, respect the king. It's crazy.
So this man knows how to win, and he's not even in the starting lineup today.
He's coaching.
What's going on?
Oh,
Something has
me.
to be in the water anyway at the Chiefs. Now, someone that likes to stay hydrated is Kitty, so let's bring her back into the conversation, and we'll have her take on water. Do you like water?
I'm thinking this is probably the best game we have for tonight, and I'm really excited to interview both teams, so let's go!
Yeah, very cool. Who do you have for us for the pregame?
We have Kevy and Dragku on the sidelines. Let's go. Hello.
Yo.
Welcome back to LCO Kevy. It's your second year with Order. So you are coming back with Biopanther and Corporal on the roster. What do you think they will benefit? How they will benefit the roster?
I mean, they've both already played on a team before, so I think like their synergy is pretty good. They already seem like pretty good friends. I mean, everyone sort of is on the team, so I think our synergy will like kind of surprise people from scrims, and that's like a strength we have.
So what's your biggest advantage compared to other teams?
Probably, I don't even know. We're pretty like all around, like in every role. Like all of us like have pretty good champ pool, pretty good mechanics, like pretty good attitude towards the game. So I wouldn't say we have like one particular strength, more just like really well rounded.
I'd say you guys have very strong carry potential, especially from yourself and Puma, and Kisei as well, with Biopanther being the facilitator, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So let's head to Dragku. Oh, sorry. But let's head to OC Ziz. Hello, Dragku.
What's up?
Yoza. So you're bringing on big names such as Arthur and Raze. Who do you think is the biggest rival for the split?
Biggest rival for the split has to definitely be PGG, and I would say Order too. I don't know which one's better, but I would just say that we should respect everyone equally, and definitely PG and Order are our biggest opponents.
Well, what do you think about the order roster?
Well, I mean, like, Order has my little bro, Kisei, that I worked with last year. So I'm really excited to see how he develops this year, especially when he has a good jungler like Kevy. And yeah, I guess he also has Corporal, and Corporal's like 800 LP trio, so.
Well, it's nice to hear some competitive spirit, and thank you for the interview, and best of luck in your match. Let's head back to Mac.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Good to catch up with the boys as well before the game there. So it was interesting to hear that Order didn't know their strength, or Kevy didn't know Order's strength initially before deciding that it was their all-roundedness that may be a strong point, as well as the synergy that they all seem to have. They all seem to be friends already. So that's exactly what you were talking about before, Rusty.
Yeah, I think given how casually he was like, he wasn't able to actually pinpoint a single point of strength.
Yeah.
Shows that even in their practice, even in their lead up to this, they're just playing League of Legends, right? The best that they possibly can. And it just so happens that there isn't a single point of power, which makes sense, right? When you've got a very well put together roster is what I think I would call Order.
Yeah, they're just being gamers being gamers, you know. That's what you want to see at the end of the day. Now we do have predictions again going into match number 3 of the evening, and let's change this one up. Let's do it backwards, even though we're all the same again with Chiefs as the pick. Kitty, what are your thoughts on this?
I think bringing on Arthur and Raze is probably Chiefs' strongest point, so that's why I chose Chief to win this game tonight.
Okay, what about you, Rusty?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, for me, I look at the rosters and I feel like, and with all respect to Draco, he's probably the weakest point of the Chiefs roster right now, because you would call them all a super team.
Yeah.
But there's just that feeling in my mind that's like, he is not a superstar yet, right? So this is his opportunity to prove himself. And if I was to give it to Order, it would probably be because of a bot difference. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to win, but I want to see something from Draco win.
Okay, and Skimmy, was this a close decision, or was it kind of you're leaning into the hype? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it could be close. Certainly could be. My reasoning has been that 3/5 of this roster for the Chiefs is that of Legacy 2020, which had the perfect year, winning MSI, or going to MSI and going to Worlds as well. So strong that entire roster then got picked up to go overseas. It was proven pedigree. They've done what they've shown they can do, and now they've come back to say, let's just run it back again. So you know what you get. A lot of these players have been around on the scene for a while, so there shouldn't be any jitters of not being familiar with the scene as a whole. And then the players that you slot in, they just complement them. So I think right out the gates, we should be expecting a roster that doesn't look too shaky, but should be looking to showcase that, you know, this is the reason they're a cut above.
Beautiful, beautiful. And my reasoning was just that I didn't want anyone to call me biased, and I do enjoy jumping on some hype trains, and I'm very, very well known for that. I do love a bit of hype. And look, Chiefs and Order, it's going to be probably the most hype matchup of the day. Now, I guess we're starting to move towards the Champ Select, so are we expecting there to be any weird, any different, or just full-on meta picks and bans, Rusty?
I feel like most of these players, so there is a couple of like, BioPanther has his weird picks. He definitely has some unique champions that no one else really replicates.
Yeah.
And I think a similar thing could be said between Tally and Kisei, right? Like they may not play the exact same champions. That's possible that they do, given that Victor's now meta and Tally's mid lane. So he's just kind of eased into it. But I don't expect anything crazy, is what I would say, except for, similar to the previous game, what I'm expecting is everyone to play their specific champions that their opponents don't play.
Well, let's see which one of these teams is going to start off the split on the right foot. It is time. Order and Chiefs coming up right now.
Let's rock and roll and get into this one. The El Clasico is gone, but potentially a chance now to try and form some new rivalries that will stand the test of time in a new scene.
It's so true, though. It's gone. Like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I feel like this is also the first draft we've seen that's gone exactly the way I thought it would with the first pick. I really think Corki is just first pickable.
Where is the Corki priority? It's crazy.
Yeah, so the thing with Corki, right, if you first pick it, there are usually matchups that do decently well into it, right? So you've got like a LeBlanc, you could pick like a Scaly Cassidy, you could go Zed as well, right? If you're looking for an assassin to kill it, which is definitely a Kisei type of angle, so just keep that in mind. But if you show that in the first 3, you've also kind of shown a weak mid laner, right? More often than not with champions like the Cassidy, or revealed your hand with the Zed unless it's a flex into jungle. So
yep.
I still think Corki is just pickable first, and as long as they pick a magic opponent, you're going to outrange them. You're a broken champion, man. And a similar thing with Jin. So for what it's worth, game number 1, I believe both Corki and Jin were banned.
Yeah.
We're seeing Jin and Caitlyn banned almost every single game. It has been crazy how much priority has been put towards them right now. Just general champion strength and how they work with the supports that are paired with them right now is kind of overwhelming. So they have to be dealt with.
Certainly do. Jin is certainly one of those champions that offers a big bang for your buck. Looks like it's going to go into the Aphelios, so 2 of the party prized AD carries, especially when Caitlyn and Jinx have been removed. We did see Kevy before ponder what champion he was going to lock in nice and early. He actually went through the mindset of, do I just pick the champions that I've flexed in the past, the likes of Evelyn, Diana, Kane, opts for something a little bit more traditional. In the end, with a Lee Sin, which we have seen Kisei play, but it's not really the meta for it nowadays, where a Kassadin might be a fraction more appealing.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to go Nautilus, right, usually, Jin, rather, it usually partners with something like a Nautilus, something like a Leona, and it's not always played for lane.
Yep.
So you could, in theory, perhaps pick a Kassadin and play a support that roams to try and help mid, but that's not winning, right? That's playing to survive. So I think that having something like a Syndra mid, which has more threat, has a bit more priority early as well, it does kind of open up the floor for Order through their draft to allow bot lane to just do its thing, to allow the support roams to be more meaningful with Kevy and with Kisei involved, and for BioPanther to be flexible in the champion that he chooses to pick now, because they don't really have a reliance on him being a carry top, but that's still an option. So I like this flexibility from Order on red side. I think the Syndra is the better all-around, I would say, choice.
Sure, and I suppose if it kind of cycles back to our point before about where we think at least Order strength should be, a Syndra and a Lee Sin, pretty explosive, pretty telling on what they showcased to us last year. They're going to be very keen to connect on any stun, silence, or engage that presents itself anywhere on the map. Fresh, as well as the Zillion, have been banned away here from the side of Order. The Gwen potentially targeting BioPanther, which, as you mentioned, also pretty much will play anything. He is what I've coined the mad scientist. Some would even say Bio Daddy, but I am not one of those believers. But some would say that. He's played crazy things like Nico, Jana, Lulu top. But on this occasion, I'm sure he's really going to go for something a little bit more reliable, a little bit more bruiser tank-esque.
Yeah, I mean, Bio is a fourth pick blind Gragas type of player. He could go the Ornn, could go the Scion, but again, I think Graves is probably the most common seen other blind pick, and I don't know if that's Bio, you know? So I'm expecting the Gragas, and if it was something else, I would have expected it to still be a tank. So, as you would always think here in this matchup with Order being red side, Topoon's still going to get the counter pick because Bio just plays for the team.
Yeah.
And it's the rest of the map that gets the counter. Corporal playing bot lane wants to see what the support is going to be when it's revealed so that they have a strong bottom lane matchup, right? This Aphelios needs something with it. Something you would expect aggressive that has engaged because that's what their comp desperately needs right now.
Yep.
Through the 4-man roster. So Leona fits. In theory, Nautilus also something that would be okay. And Chiefs will get to pick the matchup if you reveal the support, and then they're just kind of winning across the board, right?
I mean, they're not short of options. We do know that Draku certainly dabbles in the enchanters as well. I've actually seen him spamming the games of Sona in solo queue, but not a Sona angle, you'd have to say. The Gnar Hover actually is Topoon's most played champion in his career. This will now be his 20th game of the champion, one that doesn't seem to be the go-to, at least in the top 3 discussion, but piloted by the right person, works wonders. Devastating.
Oh, mate, in the good hands, Gnar is a completely different champion, let's be honest. I mean, you see that across the entire globe. Gnar is not only a pick, Gnar is an incredible pick in the right hands. I'm just waiting to see where Order choose to go now, because the Leona, the Gnar, that kind of rounds out really strong team fighting here from the Chiefs. They have really nice follow-up for the Corki. So generally speaking, you would say get the package, play with the package, try and get resets in team fights through the Aphelios Ultimate, the Corki package with the rockets he's throwing, and let Viego go off, right? While you've got the front line of Gnar and Leona. On the other side of the coin here, they've gone for the Alistar, which is a personal favorite pick of mine, but it's almost impossible to pick if your opponents haven't shown their mid laner, because Silas is broken if he gets an Alistar roll. So they go for the 5th pick here on Order. And I like it. What it provides, first of all, is something that zones away a Gnar. He can't just jump in for free. He has to have flash, right, over a headbutt. It also is a pretty free matchup in bottom if Leona goes you can actually just pulverize the Leona if you wanted and stop her from stun comboing your carry so that Puma can win. Or you just go and raise, right, and you match supports, and you're going to effectively be doing the same thing as the Leona. So I like this matchup, and the natural utility that you get from having it is huge, as well as the flank.
I think utility for me, Rusty, is a key word because I am looking at free displacement ultimates or free displacement abilities with, you know, the leasing kick, the explosive cast, the fact that Corporal can just headbutt, even pulve if necessary, that they can look to try and readjust the fight to be their own preference to, you know, find the picks that they need and at least adjust things to work in their way, because you're quite right. Tapoon is going to be looking for those huge Gnar ultimates on repeat. Tally will be no doubt looking to find those packages to cut off the angles and look to try and slice the fight apart in their, you know, respective regards. So two different compositions, but very excited to see how these two front runners very early on look to showcase us their true test of might.
Yeah, and while they might be different comps, they kind of operate in a very similar way. The one major point of difference is probably going to be the double teleports and the threat of side laning coming out of Tapoon and Tally as the game progresses. Where I feel like on the order side of the fence here, Gragas is just known for weathering that storm. Might be strong early, but will get outscaled by Gnar in split push, and they are going to be looking for those team fights probably more than anything else. Lots of flank threat, however, coming out of the Order team. Still a lot of pick that they can generate, and pretty insane if they get control of the objective before the side of the Chiefs when it comes to it.
Well, let's load in for the third time tonight as we kick off opening night here of the LCO 2022. This is the one you've been waiting for. This is a chance for the front runners, as we've coined them, as you, the fans at home, have presented. Let's see how strong they truly are. Chiefs on the left-hand side and Order on the right. And speaking of, let's welcome their coach back onto the broadcast for another year of the LCO in series.
Thanks, Gary. Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. Hopefully the off-season was kind to you. Obviously, a nice, easy, generic question for you, much to your philosophy of last year. I know you had a team beforehand which was very keen to play unique champion picks. With another team that has a lot of those pocket picks at their disposal, would you say your coaching philosophy will have to change?
No, I don't think so. I think for the most part, you're just going to let people play to their strengths, and that's generally my philosophy. So, you know, if Bio wants to pull up one day with a Yumi top, I'm going to let him. Okay. I mean, maybe not that far, but yeah, ultimately, for sure, if things work and they're functional, we get some practice on it and it looks good, they can play whatever they want.
Yeah, and it seems to have worked out for you so far. I'm very keen to see, obviously, how this team forms an identity as the split goes on, but as we load into this game and get ourselves ready to rock and roll, much like I said to the other coaches tonight, is there anything you want to say out to Order and LCO fans alike?
Yeah, I mean, we have a host of new faces on Order, but hope they'll continue to show their support for us. They can be excited for good things, and we're definitely going to upset the top two teams.
Fantastic. Pleasure to have you with us as always there, Series, and best of luck.
Thanks, mate.
I thought it'd be an interesting question. We did see him last year with the likes of Azir tops and Victor tops to try and contend with, so another team that has a lot of those crazy pocket picks, what that would mean as we go straight into the bottom lane.
Yeah, Series may not hear it at this point because he's gone now, but he owes me a third game in our best of 3 in solo queue. We're 1-1. So looking forward to the rematch between the coach hands whenever that does happen. We're going to hop into this game, however, Order start in lane bottom, and I think that's the most important thing they could have done just towards this 2v2. Alistar's weakest point is often known as level 1. He gets a lot stronger at 2, and he gets insane at 3 for the stun follow-up, right? Not just the damage output that naturally comes from an Alistar, and the Ignite being there for kill threat. So being able to start in lane, being able to build a wave in a way that you actually desire it to be, helps get you past the point where a Leona and an Aphelos could pressure you, even though they're not the strongest level 1, as Aphelos with no abilities after all. And get yourself to level 2 where you have a fighting chance. And they get to keep priority as such, as the Lee Sin is pathing towards top, and then they'll try and bounce the wave so that they're safe, as he is on the opposite side of the map. So nice stuff there from Order at the moment. And just looking towards the Chiefs and what they have done, they're both pathing towards the same side of the map. You would expect the 1 point of variance is going to be the Scuttle Crab on opposite side.
Whilst we do have him on our screen, as you correctly pointed out, worked with him before in your time of Avant. Played with Direwolves as well. Before joining the LCK, he literally played with superstars like Chovy as well as Deft, and now he's back to OS. And you have to ask the question, right? Much like these boot camps, the teams we send to these big international events, what does it actually mean? The buff, does it remain for much longer than a few months before you assimilate back to OS standards? I'm really keen to see what Alpha can bring here.
He's about to find a Kevy. He does have a level advantage, but he doesn't have a Bio Panther. So we'll have to keep this in mind. He will just be able to walk on out through the exceptionally large amount of camouflage that exists in League of Legends lately. And you're right, he played with Chovy, played with Deft. Now get ready for Tally and Raze, right? It's not exactly the same caliber of player, but in Oceania you would say it is, you know? Like, in perspective, definitely are the Chovy and Deft almost of our region, you could say. Or one could make the argument. Nevertheless, we'll see how it goes, we'll see how long it lasts. Tally spotted.
Yeah, instant Valkyrie away, but going to cop a bit of a beating from the Lee Sin combo, drop himself down to half, but chug through that refillable potion. I suppose whilst you have a bit of a lull point at the very early start of this game, I was quite curious to see really what we would get from Tally, because if you date your mind back to when he came in as that emergency mid lane sub for Legacy in 2020, he played a very different role in the mid lane. Yes, he was, you know, moving from a top lane role, but he played much more of a protector, a facilitator would probably be a better word, the likes of Cho'Gath, Galio, Karma, all mid, to really enable Raze to be that 1v9 perfect player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has shown his flexibility as a player in multiple roles. You would expect coming into this one he'd be the Victor player on the Corki Victor matchups, but he chooses the Corki, so clearly has the practice on it. There was a period of time where Corki was a top laner anyway, so I think Tally's real happy with the mid meta. Arthur does get pushed away and dissuaded, but the Dragon also does get dissuaded here, Skimmy, so we're at a reset point. Dragon almost had an angle there if you knew where the rest of the team was.
Biding his time, going to poke his head into mid lane and say hello to his former teammate of old. This is what Draku's really been known for ever since he's made that role swap. Very aggressive for the roams. Now as a result, Raze is left in a 1v2, got the Graviton, locks them in place. It's a flash, it's a cleanse. And Corporal says, that's all I wanted.
And on a more micro level, Skimmy, one of the reasons this bot lane 2v2 is actually so insane is because the Jhin can use his W to follow up your combo, right? They are guaranteed to be locked in place for the duration of your E-stun stacking up as an Alistar. So like, you'll actually be able to layer your crowd control with no need for phase rush generally. And almost force a summoner spell from them if you're able to hit there. Oh my god.
Okay, well, oh.
Nah, he could have died there though, Flyo. I think if he hit him with the bomber, he was done for. It's just not there.
It's such an interesting discussion for me, right? Because we had the Exodus when Topoon did leave, and you'd have to argue that he was probably the best top laner we had at that time. Then Biopanther, I would say, probably became the best top laner of last year. And now you've got them both resting to say, well, who's the best in current form? And if that's anything to go by, Topoon, take a timeout.
He definitely had an int angle. He's lucky that Bio was feeling generous this day. I also think they were, I would say they were the best in the region for different reasons, right? Bio obviously became an exceptional laner in his time while being the best. But Topoon was like the laner, who was just such an insane Gnar. He was so optimal in the decisions he would make. His team fighting was perfect. Bio was known more for his teleports, right?
Yeah.
His ability to play the map. He was always the first top laner to the scene when there was a team fight. That was really his hallmark figure as a top laner. We're seeing them collide and just seeing exactly what we get from both of them will be curious.
Alpha's got the timer, going for the red buff. Control wall goes down, and Kevy knows, well, there's someone here. And I don't think it's going to be anybody more than just one. Goes to Smite, and he connects. And he can just dash away with the mobility of a Lee Sin. Down to the bot lane, here we go. Zenithblade goes on in, instant cleanse, and a flash away as well. Now both bot laners don't have that to their name. They've just got raw damage, but not much else.
Yeah, and it's a huge victory as trades go, though, for the side of the Chiefs in this 2v2. Nice little engage there by Dragku. If you use your flash for a carry, you've got Hex Flash. That's just winning as a support in general, regardless. That top lane skirmish for the red buff, just keep in mind that while Kevy was able to collect that one, it's the pressure that's there from the Chiefs. You know, he's able to advance his line of control to the enemy red. He can then bring that back to the Rift Herald, which looks much more free right now, as you know Kevy has no reason to be topside unless he's contesting. And enough time has passed that he's realistically not going to be on this side of the map, and Herald should just be yours to take solo.
It should be the case, as we just got word from production that a member has DC'd from the game, so we'll keep you up to date as to what the current status is loading back into things. But as it stands, nothing truly separating these two. Yes, you could talk about minor CS leads across the board, but I suppose bot lane is where you're licking your lips right now because the Dragon has already gone, the Herald is in their sights, but neither Puma or Race has any summoners to talk about, so I can't imagine we're going to have a full rotation to try and contest it.
Yeah, and you'd expect that between a Lee Sin, between a Viego as well, the kill threat is very high if they're able to get into the mix, especially with all that crowd control there from your respective supports. As it does look like we're going to be getting back into this one, Skimmy. It's the non-inclusion of top laners as well that's a major factor. You know, there's not going to be a Gragas ultimate to save your carries down there. You are on an island. It really is just junglers and maybe mids, so package timing is probably the place to look. Mayo just...
He's copying it, isn't he?
Refuses
really
to ult though, Skibby.
Yeah. He's not opting to run the Grasp either. He's gone for the Arcane Comet, so it looks like he wants to be more aggressive, but Tapun is abusing that tree and just getting free demolish stacks time and time again.
It's an Everfrost build from the looks of it, you know. In contrast to the Gragas we spoke about before, this does seem like it's going to be more of the Everfrost angle as Tapun is proving that he is an absolute pest. I think Order want to force this package.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. That was easy.
Okay, well he trims the waves, so it's not going to be utilised on anything else. Dragon is, well, it's a while away, 2.5 minutes before that was even going to be a discussion, so had to use it. Back to top we go.
There will be constant pressure here, constant priority, and I think that as a result of this priority, you can see the red buff ward that Arthur placed a while ago. It's going to persist. And so they really do have, I feel like, a free measure on where Kevy is most of the time right now, just because their top side is so under control. Like, realistically, the limitations that Kevy has right now is to the bottom half of the map. And so if you're Chiefs, you play around there. You see Corporal clearing this vision, you actually can bring a jungler, right? You can be more aggressive.
Yes, ult advantage. Ooh, instant flash away. There was a potential punish angle, given that the Unstoppable Force wasn't there. Corporal's going back in. There's the Deadly Flourish. There's the stun, getting kicked straight out of range for the Curtain's Call. But it doesn't matter. There's a first blood anyway.
And that's so good from the side of Order. It's a numbers game that they're playing, and Kisei is winning that numbers battle. Tally just not going to be able to provide any use, even if he matches that roam timer. And the Syndra just does too much burst this early with the Sorcerer Shoes being rushed. Corporal knows his mark, they know the calls, and the confidence there from Order will net themselves a nice little first blood. No real advantages though, Skimmy. It still feels like that was just the kill.
Does feel to be the case, as Tapun is completely ignoring Biopanther's best attempts with limited barter to try and bully him away from this one. Drops him to half, but that's it. Tapun is still very much focused on getting that turret down ASAP.
And the biggest victory from that really was the alleviation of pressure down in the bottom lane 2v2. This top lane, like, we are literally pre-14 minutes, we're looking at a turret actually dropping, right? Like, that's how much damage is being done. Bio used his ultimate, so you can see Tapun, even in mini form, is playing with a little bit more reckless abandon. And currently has the most gold in the game. He's farming out of his mind down in this, up in this top lane. The rest of the map needs to really consider the plays and what they have. If you know that Kevy is more locked into the bottom half of the map, his look at top just there was more creative around vision. You've got to kind of make something happen, it feels like, to generate some leads. So that first play bottom was crucial.
Yeah, I think it kind of speaks, Rusty, to the strength that Tapun offers in this roster, because you mentioned how both are very good for very different reasons. Well, you look at some of the stats that he had in Split 2 OPL when he last played here. I mean, he had, on average, across all those games, a 500 gold lead at 10 minutes. CS up by 12 at 10 minutes as well. I mean, he was just dominating with damage, with gold, with everything that you were thinking, this is not how I envision top lane working. Nonetheless, we're going to try and find strength elsewhere. And they are going to utilize some of that strength they found in that previous kill bottom side to go for this next strength. That doesn't mean that Chiefs aren't going to answer back. They are just going to summon the Herald and guarantee that that first turret falls on down.
Yeah, the Herald had been confirmed a while ago by Arthur, so realistically this was inevitable, it felt like, with the amount of pressure the top end was providing and plates he was getting by himself. So they really will just summon the Herald and hit it home. Dragon, I think the timing was actually fantastic. They're diving.
Certainly looking for it. Not going to find it though. Instant flash away, flash to flash. Top lane will not find it, but this is a bit of a punish. Yes, you've got 2 dragons working your way to a soul point. That can't really be truly realized for another 10 minutes at the bare minimum. And now they've opened up a backdoor angle, at least an invitation to pressure some split push later on.
I mean, the dragon play fizzles into nothing beyond it being a dragon. So the thing that Order does have for themselves will hold that thought.
Hang on a minute. Oh, fantastic there from Kevy. After going to fall on down, 40 at the angle, 40 at the reset. Thought there was a soul to claim. We said it fizzled. It certainly did not. They found the punish, and now it feels a little bit better.
And now they're going to potentially look towards mid. You've got Puma on a flank with the Jhin. He has the Gale Force in, so if Syndra hits a stun on the right timings, this is potentially a kill. But it's going to need Syndra damage, and she's already so low, so that's really hard to do. And you could see Tally, of course, being a calm and measured man, he's just going to get himself out to safety perfectly fine. So the play fizzles bottom, Skimmy, but it's the flip of the play from Order from bot to top where it finds success. And I do feel like, first of all, you have to remember that Arthur's been top for how long now, right? Like, they play for the Herald on the top turret, they play for the dive on the second turret in the inner, they get the turret, and then he goes to the red buff. So I think he's just really lost track of time there and was caught out by Kise being able to roam, and the map flip from Order, which was expected. He just well and truly overstays his welcome.
And that's twice now that we've seen these kills found here by Order in what is a killless game for the Chiefs so far. Really come down to superior rotational ability. The fact that they're able to just put 4 members down and punish the fact that Corporal had no ultimate at that given moment. And find now the second death onto Arthur's name.
Yeah, and it's Kise involved in all of them, right? Good flash from him as well onto the Viego play, so prevents any kind of resets. And put some nice damage down himself, exactly what they needed. Order definitely delivering on an individual level, you would say, so far in this game. Top lane just unfortunately been matched up and placed into the bin with the pressure from the Chiefs. Kevy finds him.
Still kicks it, even though he looks to try and bop away. Not much more is going to be done than just that at this stage. But they are looking to try and wrestle some control. You can see the vision right now. Order hunting to control these wards of their own, which are control wards, protect them, and potentially bait out some positioning that enables them to find a fight of their own again.
And they bring Bio, so they want the fight. 100% you're looking at Corporal with a flash engage angle. That's the initiation that they need. That's the follow-through. Leasing Kick could start it.
Not going to opt for it just yet. Has the flash, not looking for any insect
Corky
moments
package.
just yet. They have to be careful though. As you say, there is the package. And Tally, well, he doesn't have the Ludens just yet. Biding his time, scaling up is the Corky though. And those big ones will start to hurt.
And trying to force the fight now is the Chiefs. Now they've got a time limit on this package, so I think they want to kick this one off and try and bring Order to them. Order want to slow this down, let the package fizzle.
Jakku says it's time to shine. He jumps on through, instantly cuts off that entrance into the jungle as a result. They're standing on the red carpet. It's not Hollywood, but it might be all written in the stars that they're burning, they're falling on down. Both junglers are feeling the pressure, and out comes the curtain call. Kise's looking, and he finds himself a double. He's removed his opposite in Tally, and they re-engage back on towards this Herald, which is full health. Kevy cycling through the health, hits the Gore Drinker and sustains. Bio gets revenge for what was a very rough laning phase, and finally takes out Tapoon. And Chiefs are still hunting for that first kill.
And they have absolutely slaughtered the Chiefs when it comes to skirmishing, when it comes to team fighting and execution on an individual level, Skimmy. It is 7-0 in kills. And I think this is the first time a real objective has gone their way as a result of a skirmish that has just favored Order. So this is a really big moment for them. Gold gets brought back to effectively 0. We'll see this engage again. It was a big force from the Chiefs. I think we can all admit that. Kevy also kicks Tally away, really just keeping him out of the fight. But the reason this is so good for Order is because they know the package is there, right? They're so cognizant of it existing. And Kevy's flank is threatening Tally. It is almost an impossible situation for him to be. So he has to walk into the jaws of a Jhin ult and try and dodge. Cops Bio Panther, and that's all she wrote for the Corky, and the fight as a result. It's Order knowing that they're playing to disengage, to re-engage after, right? It's clear comms from Order. It's the cohesion from a team we said has cohesion.
And what was a strong gold lead, despite not having any kills, is fizzling out. Now Order, if a second headbutt goes off and a little bit more success goes their way, they will firmly gain control. Soon. Does have the flash, does have the Gnar, but is soon to go back to Mini. And now a third dragon is teasing them.
Yeah, so at this point in the game, if Order secure this one, they will be on Soul Point for an Ocean Soul. Prior to this dragon spawning, you would have actually said Chiefs were still well and truly favored in this game, right? They had so much control of the map, they'd taken so much gold from structures, and in general, they were just stupidly far ahead. And they still are. If you actually look at the reflective gold value in total here from the Chiefs carries, they are still 3 of the top 4. So they are well and truly still in the driver's seat, and this next Drake is something that the Chiefs will be actively looking to fight towards. They should have 2 major items on all of their carries at that point. It's just that Order have kind of purchased themselves an opportunity to fight for a Soul Skimmy, where that gold lead that was ballooning gets brought back closer to even, you know?
Yeah, it feels like they've both had very different ideas of how they want to start things off here, with gold being achieved from laning, from turrets, from those plates as well, but Order are punishing that eagerness to try and play the split push to open up those ideas on the map as opposed to facing them head on. And
Look, Cannon, yeah, you don't have to do mid-observers, we know.
yes.
That's embarrassing. That's how you know the observers play League of Legends, by the way.
Even they're upset at the -1.
A Cannon cops a zoom in. But yeah, this might be a moment of calm. It's hard to say for certain, right? You've got no Corki package. Baron is up in a minute, but we're only 19 minutes into this one, and I don't think either team really will ever consider rushing it, let alone sneaking it with the comps that they have. I think everyone will be pretty content farming up those second items that we highlighted, especially a Corki composition, just between you and me. The more items that Corki gets, the more obnoxious it's going to be. And the harder a time Kisei has simply existing. He just gets completely outranged. Similar with the Jhin, even though Jhin is an exceptionally long-range champion, it's going to be more about the Ws and the ultimates that outrange the Corki. The bombs will still find you. Package will still hit its mark.
I'm sure that's the growing concern right now is if the Chiefs can hit that point where that becomes relevant, because Order, almost by chance, are fighting now for an Ocean Soul, which would give them Order sustain to potentially weather that storm, that barrage, that late game threat that a Corki is hyped up to be. As soon as the Baron is there, Chiefs are hunting around, seeing what they can find, but I suppose more so than anything now, you're looking to try and say you've established this big top lane dominance. What does this actually mean? Because are you trading out dragons? Baron is there, not the ideal circumstance.
You can see Order is still pretty vigilant of him, right? They're still a little bit afraid of that Baron being rushed, and a Viego, a Gnar, and the right weapons, which is what Raze currently has on an Aphelios, can still do it quickly. So due respect will be shown, and due vision will have to be enforced here by Order to try and stop it from just being completely free. But overall, we are still expecting that casual farming moment to continue to happen here. Corki wants level 16, he wants 2 items. Wants to finish off the Ludens if possible, as soon as possible. Gnar also really wants the Sterak's to team fight Skimmy. I think that's a pretty big deal. Lets you be a little bit too aggressive with your engages and get away with it.
A little bit squishy just sitting on a Divine Sunder. Yes, you pack a punch, but you don't feel as tanky as you want to be unless that Mega Form is available. He's just going to continue to be a threat on this map and force Order's hand. Has caught them a few too many times so far, to be honest, but is an opportunity for them to buy that time, which seems to be ever so crucial. 90 seconds for that Soul Point to decide whether or not Chiefs want to contest. They feel like they need to.
You'll definitely feel that pressure, and I think 100% you kind of have to. You don't want to give an Ocean Soul over. It is one of the few Dragon Souls that you'll feel very pressured to fight. So the clock continues to tick, a minute 10 till. Scuttlecrab already secured though, some preliminary wards already placed. So across the board, I think both teams are prepped and poised to advance their control in this game, right? To really look towards securing it. And I think Order are going to be the ones that try and do it first. Once again, if you actually look at their comp, it's very similar to the previous games where there's a lot of pick involved. So having a Syndra, having a Jhin able to set up in an area, and also enabling Corporal to have vision down first where he can find the flash angles, you would say that's huge. for winning the team fight that would come afterwards. Lots of pressure on now for the Chiefs.
A lot of pressure on them. Thankfully for them, there is no Chemtech Soul to worry about. That would have done him the vision, the ability to try and run into this portion of the jungle to gain some form of control. Out go the walls. Soliflare misses again. It's just the slow, but not the stun. Moonlight Vigil connects as well, looking for Kisei, who does have a Zonias. I guess they're trying to force that out more so than anything. He's not under any pressure to flash or stasis.
And they want to rush it straight away. The teleport's going to get forced here by Kisei as a minimum. And they're also forcing them through a choke point. So this is optimal for a Mega Knight and for a package. But Chiefs are on a clock. They have like 10 seconds to engage.
Yep, instant TP back there from Kisei. The package has to be used on the Strang to try and burn it on through. It's going to be secured after Smite steals that one for the fight. And now they take out Kevy. Down for 36 seconds. The curtain goal goes out. Not enough for lethal. 2 kills found. That's the first of this game here for Ray. Still has the Gale Force. Looking to try and execute. Can he find someone low? Flash in from Arthur. Not what he needs. Not the reset he can find, but there are souls now to claim. Health regen and collapse potential. More flashes and more stuns. But Puma on the disengage with a rather crippled Bio.
And a 3-for-2 skirmish as the dust settles, right? And it fizzles out into a control for the Chiefs. They'll be really happy with the outcome of that one. And again, right, they were given a window. They have a Corki package for the objective. They have Mega Knight as the dragon spawns, and they choose to rush it, which is absolutely a fair choice. You don't want to give Order an opportunity for a real engage. And the fact that Kevy tries to steal it actually opens up the floor to a team fight, even with Topoon being a tired Mini Nara, right? No opportunity to return back to Mega. So Kevy just dies. That's resets for Arthur. Corporal's already one hit. No Alistar ultimate is going to save you from that one with the amount of damage that just gets littered onto you. Kisei, I think even Arthur there could have considered using the Viego ult to be untargetable before the flash, but the resets will come through. Drag who finds his mark with a nice Zenith Blade. And that's really the fight there from Chiefs. Well played from them. Well played reactively to Order, committing to a steal it.
And it just feels like the elegance of these two teams doing a very different dance. It is still the Chiefs with the gold lead. They find their first kills, and as a result, actually put themselves up 2k in the strong seat now. They've got the map pressure. I mean, the early investment was prioritizing turrets, but Order were not able to secure that Ocean Soul that they so desperately desired. And you talked about some of the summoner checks beforehand. Well, a lot of flashes were burnt before.
Oh. Okay. It'll be a turret in mid lane, so they'll break the inner turret, but nothing more from it. I think right now, Kisei is one of those Syndra's that just throws the stun off cooldown, doesn't usually use Qs prior. So he's becoming a little bit predictable for the dodge hands of the side of Chiefs. And you can see a nice little sidestep there from Raze. Will get himself out to safety, no issues at all. Topoon and Tally.
Tally comes in with a TP, not wasting any time to try and rotate through that top half jungle. Looking for Corporal once again. Unstoppable Force is there, but he's just getting shredded. The Gatling gun is taking him down. And now Arthur becomes the cow. In comes another TP. Topoon now looking for the angle. Very close to Mega. It's beautiful. It's orchestrated. And there's an ultimate that is not required.
Oh, Puma.
Oh no, the Solar Flare goes out the wrong bush. But it doesn't matter. You can try and do some alcove gaming, but there is no hiding from death itself.
Nowhere to go. It's really tragic for Puma. And you know, the most tragic thing, Skimmy, is that Kevy and Corporal die for his sins. He was the one that was getting hit in mid lane by Topoon. They try and get their AD carry out to safety. It turns out there was going to be 3 kills in the end. Turns out there is also going to be the Baron with it. They get the top wave pushed in. And easy as you'd like, Chiefs turn it on. Right, they hit the accelerator, and this game goes from what was a really even game state back to kind of the direction we thought it was going to go 10 minutes prior, where the Chiefs now have control and a Baron in tow.
That's how it all started.
It's Puma, once again, right? He's caught. It's a good teleport flank, but an AD carry out in the middle of nowhere. It's a very Order thing to do. Shout out Rare 7. Corporal just effectively says, I will die for your mistakes. It's not an issue, right? Happy for a support to die. But you've got the blast cone, you've got the rest of the team able to chase through on Kevy. And unfortunately, at the time the second kill was confirmed, you're just a little Jhin in a Jhin-hating world. And it's just a sad time to be Puma. What can you do?
But it started with Puma, and it certainly did end with him as well. And the Chiefs now with a sizable gold lead to talk about are starting to reflect that whilst the game plan at the start was rather different, it's now starting to align here. Kills are being acquired, fights are being won. And, well, 5 minutes has gone by, another Dragon to play for, and Order are scurrying to find a way in here to try and contest it to guarantee that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, an impossible Dragon to play for in reality. Don't really expect them to find any avenue of entry. You can see the Chiefs are going to be staunching them, right? They're going to play mid-bot. They're going to secure the correct side of the map. Not even a chance for Order. The best play that I think Order have is to just ARAM gaming. You've got Kevy currently sitting on a wide flank. Clearing waves, though, because he's completely visible on the map.
Ooh.
And of course, Chiefs are going to look for those opportunities, right, when the jungler is showing himself farming bot. But I don't think you can realistically get to this pit. Tally has timed his package with Dragon Spawn, Skimmy. Focus on the next Dragon, if you Order.
Oh, one big one, 50%. There's the power spike. The Ludens is online now. Late game Corki.
Yeah, and he outranges them, just like we said, right? Chiefs' composition, I think, is a little bit too powerful now. Still winnable for Order, but it's reliant on Chiefs either stepping a little bit too far forward and giving an opportunity for like a big Grag assault. But as the package is still on, really difficult to do.
Well, the explosive cask is only successful onto one target, onto Poon. Instantly flashes out the pulverized combo, not going to be found there. The turret falls on down in mid. Curtain Call goes out, but Tally is being a little bit devilish on the side. Get a Valkyrie away, but get caught in the deadly flourish regardless. Flash! Oh, it's not enough. It is not enough. The stun, the damage, and everything that Kisse had to throw at him does connect, and they find that kill.
Yeah, Raze is going to use his ultimate there for no good reason. Maybe he was going to find a carry and do more damage than he thought. Just find some tanks. Blue's going to be stolen here as well. Chiefs still coming out on top. But Tally just tries so hard to stop the Jhin from using the curtain call that he forgets about himself for a second, Skimmy. And that is definitely not the place the Corki wants to be. Flashes will secure the Corki's death. Tally's dead. And a bit of time and a bit of space actually purchased by Order. Unfortunately for them, nothing to grab.
That's the sad part, right? I mean, these ultimates, or I should say these objectives are synced up. A minute, you know, between the two of them, quite honestly, is a bit of a sad state of affairs that Tally retains the most gold in this game and isn't truly punished with his respawn timer. So they're going to be hunting and hoping that another fight sets itself up in a similar fashion and that they can look to try and bridge this deficit, which is staying strong at 5k.
So for Order, I think it's obvious that we could say the Dragon is going to be a point of contention for them. You would expect it in 3 minutes. That's where they will be looking. Chiefs, however, 30 minutes into this one, have an exceptional amount of damage between most of their carries. I do think they would need to be pretty much grouped up as 4 if they were going to look for a Baron, but Baron is on the cards. So for Order, once again, it's about picking a side of the map, setting up vision on that side of the map and trying to find an Alistar angle, trying to find a Syndra angle, a Jhin or a Lee Sin, and kick the fight off with a 1-0 head start, you know, get that pick. Easier said than done when you're feeling the pressure of the Chiefs and with how effectively they exert pressure as well, Skimmy.
Yeah, you can see it on the minimap right now. Not a single outer turret remains. It's just the front door into their base where inhibitors are really looking quite tasty at this stage. Kevy was hoping for an isolated insect, but realizes it's not looking as free as it may have only moments prior. Order might now just turn their attention to fixing some of these waves, clearing out some vision, and setting up for that Baron in shy of 60 seconds now.
He was definitely looking, oh, hang on, Top Moon needs to be careful. He should survive. Yeah, third one missing means he's definitely going to survive no matter what. I think he was actually looking for a kick on a Raze there, just quietly. Kevy had the flash ready, had the Warthog ready, but it was a Gale Force and a Gravitum weapon, the purple weapon. Really vigilant stuff there from Raze. Make sure there's absolutely zero mistakes to be made, zero opportunities for Order's side. No way back into this game is his goal.
Will this next fight be the conclusion of this game? Order now fresh of a reset, coming with as much power as they can fathom at this stage of the game. They have 2 stasis, actually 3 stasis effects. Top half of their drafting, Kisse, Kevy, and Biopamp have the ability to soak up some damage, reset, and rewind.
3 stopwatches and Azonias right now.
Yeah.
The side of Order. I mean, it's do or die, isn't it? It's starting to feel that way. 5k gold gap, but definitely a composition that's really difficult to play into. Went behind.
Oh.
Ouch.
This is Corky Gaming. This is what it looks like. Ever so frustrating to have to deal with, especially if you are grouped up looking to try and find that pick, which they do again onto Topu. Not the target they're after, but they'll take anything at this stage. Arthur goes in, out of the mist, in with a start, looks for the Biopanther. Gragas is gone. No flash, no cask, no chance to even blink and think.
Yeah, it doesn't even get the stopwatch off. Just CC locked into instant death. Well played there from the Chiefs. You can see Topu going back to base. Has teleport. He has chosen the bot lane inner turret, so it seems like he wants to get an early flank off with the dragon as it spawns. So I think that's clear intent from the Chiefs. Might be trying to stack up that mega on the Krug camp as well. They're really cheeky stuff here from the Chiefs. I like it. It shows they're not going to give this away. No way.
Can they do this quick enough though? That is the question. Arthur's so far away. It's just too much burst. Tapoon tries. A cheeky reset behind enemy lines. He's not going to spot that one out, but now they want to try and deny those resets. Can they prevent these backs? In comes the package. Tally. Flight 619 is just popping his head in and saying, hello, I am your pilot tonight, but I'm not going to find much more than that. The mobility is good. The flash, not an overreach. They're just going to trade buffs. Ocean Soul for Baron.
Yeah, Tally realizing the headwind a little bit too strong there, and that would have been an extreme int angle if he ever actually committed to that one any more than he did. Just a cheeky toga there for Tally. And I like the pressure from the Chiefs. I think they just mistime it. Maybe they overestimate how much damage they'll do to the Baron, but realistically, they've given away an Ocean Soul with the intent to fight for it. Just done so quickly by order, of course, there as well. And so you'd want to say, like, still well and truly Chiefs in the driver's seat, but they've been given a chance at a soul, and they've secured it, and they've been given a real breath of life in a dire game.
Certainly have. Ocean Soul is going to pack a big punch right now, going to weather the storm, give them some much-needed lifesteal to couple with what they already have, especially for Puma here, in a champion and a build that doesn't usually go down that avenue.
Yeah, it's only partly true though. So Ocean Soul taking effect on dealing damage means they still have nothing to deal with Tally. You know, they still don't really have any avenue of attack for this unstoppably large Corki that has been seeing bans for good reason. It's all about the engage, right? It's all about the regeneration during combat, I think, for Order's composition. Bar Puma, who does get some value.
Here begins the crunch though, Rusty. Two waves synced up quite nicely. A 1-4 split with Tapoon sat in the top side right now. Both of them have their flashes available, as does the rest of this map. Bar heavy right now. Insect is not an avenue. Agos to Soliflate doesn't connect again, but enough to zone him away. Mid inhibitor will fall on down. Checking with top side, and Tapoon is soon to secure a second. There it is. Bot lane not too far away. A big wave soon to build up that they can quite handily rotate towards. And with the next 30 seconds of this Baron, they look to try and do the complete sweep.
It seems a little troll, and it does look like a bit of impatience from Dragco. I think that's fair, but at the same time, a single Corki rocket with the Sunlight passive proccing is unbelievable. And Corporal being chunked out means that he can't engage. So, like, it's still well and truly working here from the side of Chiefs.
In goes Kevy, he's had enough as well. You talk about impatience. Out goes the stopwatch nice and early on. What can Order do to try and back him up? Well, it's just a safeguard. There is Corporal. Kevy tried, but he did not find.
Yeah, it was a flash from Tally. The kick did send them to safety, but you can see what Order are looking for here. You can also see that Ocean Soul taking effect for Kevy when he hits Q, so he's going to be back to full health. He's going to be fighting fit. That was really close, actually, to Puma copping a double combo, a big one, and an ult from Raze. It probably would have killed him, honestly.
Nearly got one shot off screen.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, at this stage of the game, where you've got Raze hitting that breaking point of 60% of the critical strike, the Collector would have been enough for sure. And he would be a fair bit sad having to wait about, what, 45 seconds at this point of the game?
This is just such a, like, it's such a stalemate, you know? Like, it's still the Chiefs that at all times feel like they're stronger than Order, but Order's propensity for, playing passively, for actually sacrificing and giving away things. You've seen those moments of impatience there from the side of the Chiefs, right? Like, just chucking Leona ults because you can. And you're not going to get punished, but there's just nothing else to do, right? Because Order are willingly giving everything. But you've also given them an Ocean Soul. So they can do this, right? So that's where kind of that stalemate comes about. And I think we are just going to be at a point where it's an Elder Baron angle.
Yeah.
Double the amount of objectives on the map. They coincide, I think, 8 seconds apart, roughly. You'll get one of them for free, and I think you just play the Elder.
I suppose my question to you is, like, are we going to see another situation where Chiefs wrestle control for this Baron and Order can somehow sneak in to get the Elder?
No, I think you have to play Elder. Like, if you have, I mean, think about it, which one would you prefer, right? You look at your composition having an Aphelios and a Corki. Without a doubt, you give that guy an Elder Dragon, right?
Yeah, one rocket and it's done.
Yeah. So
nice.
I don't know. I don't know if Order have enough to actually stop an Elder's power, even if they manage to sneak the Baron as the trade. But Chiefs have all of their control in the topside jungle, and they could transition that pretty easily to a free Elder Dragon. The question is how Order move in the next, 30 seconds, because this is their last reset with some wards. No control wards there for Corporal left to place anymore, and only 2 regular wards. So about as far as they've currently pushed is about as far as they'll get, unless they use mid-wave. And that's really easy to counter.
Been our longest game to date so far. 40 minutes is going to be the magical number. Check your stopwatch, because that's when the fireworks are going to explode. 2 massive late game power buffs that should seal the fate for one of these teams. Look at their damage. It is absurd.
And then you just got to look at the healing coming out of the other 2 as well and see how that trade-off takes effect. Tally's still receiving some poke. Corporal caught.
Potentially. Forced to burn his ultimate very early on. Deadly Flourish goes out. Biopanther immunes that with the stasis. No Solar Flare today. Out goes to Deadly. Oh, it's a Deadly Moonlight Vigil. He finds the kill. Now Tapoon goes in 1v4. Knocking on the front door by the wall, but survives because he is a Gnar in Mega. Too much health. In goes Tally. Valkyrie 1 and 2. This is a double. But it instantly gets punished there by Puma. Burns the cleanse, hits the flash, runs away and says, where is my team? I'm dead. It's an ace. It was nice knowing you. It won't be a perfect ace, but Chiefs have done it. They've taken us to the late game. And they've said, this might be our fiercest rival to date yet.
So I think we could say the expected result happened, but perhaps not in the expected way. Right, that was a valiant attempt from the side of Order. They had a solid, it was 7-0 in kills at one point in favor of Order. They were getting objectives, they were trading the map, they brought it back to even and actually got the Ocean Soul. There are so many things there for Order that looking at this game, you're like, they had a real shot.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Chiefs still just got too much gold into the pockets of the right people. Toppin literally just existed in one lane. And Tally, no matter how many times he did run it down, and he did run it down, he was still a Corki with 3 items that was level 16. So all you need to do is hit a big one, and that was the game.
At that stage of the game, you're basically playing FPS, which is a genre that Mac is actually very well versed in. What did you make of the Corki gameplay?
Well, there was lots of guns, lots of shooting, and a cool stat, which I've managed to grab from one of the admins as well, is that is the first time we got to see First Strike in the LCO.
Nice.
And Corki made 2,143 gold over the crazy 39.57 game. So it's almost a 40-minute extravaganza between these two. I was looking at the top of the scoreboard, top of the UI there, like 7-0 start for Order. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. But then I think everyone in Twitch chat was popping off about the gold difference because there wasn't really one. It seemed like Chiefs, they just had better macro decisions to take some control of lane. They got a lot of that gold from plates off the turrets as well, just to make sure that they were still in the game, even though they were losing a lot of those fights. But then at that, 19-ish minute mark, I think it was 23-minute mark is when Chiefs started to finally get a couple of those kills on the board. Yeah, I think put it here. It was 23 minutes and they started to finally come back into the game with a couple of kills and really just started to show what they were made of. Order looked like they were getting picked apart left, right and center. And it was a very long, I guess, travel towards the end of the game. You know, there was a lot going on, but then all of a sudden there was a lot not going on because no team really wanted to make any mistakes. Chiefs didn't want to give that advantage back towards Order. It seems like once they had the tempo, they really never wanted to give it up. Yes, Order managed to get the Ocean Soul, and that might have been, a chance. But then you could see in this final couple of fights, in this final ace, the Chiefs managed to pick it up. It didn't really matter that they got the soul. It was just too little too late, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they just needed I think if they needed that Ocean Soul to be another dragon. That's how I would have seen it, Skippy. Perhaps a Chemtech or an Infernal could have been what the gas in the tank that was needed for them. But I just want to quickly say as well to your original point, Mac, and it's right. Like, the Chiefs were still ahead in gold, even though it was 0-7 on the kill board. It's quite simply because Order were punishing Chiefs' mistakes well, and it proves that Chiefs weren't playing perfectly, but they were still putting their best foot forwards from the get-go, right? And it means that Order were only responding with those picks. And all those kills they got were good, they were valid, but they were so late, and Chiefs already had gold leads at that point that all it really did was bring it back to even.
Yeah, it just sort of made it more interesting. It was a lot of people in chat would have been, looking and going, oh, 0-7, wow, Order, they are in with a really good shot here, which, was my expectation watching that unfold. And then Chiefs, when they finally managed to get the ball rolling, like, boy, did that or else, Skimmy.
Yeah, it was just chronic. It just came out of nowhere, right? The fact that we are looking at a scoreboard and thinking it's 7-0, it should be as easy as that, right? But the story was so much deeper than that, right? Very different ideas of how they wanted to play things, open up the map, get pressure, win lane, and say, okay, maybe you are overextending a few times, like Rusty pointed out, the fact that they get killed in the top lane, because then Arthur says, maybe I just want to steal your red buff as well. There's another double kill, but it didn't look like there's any panic. There was a clear idea that, yes, we scale, yes, they've got a lot of pick potential, and Kisei can't just one-shot us, as can this Jin, but a lot of the times it was Corporal hunting, but the hunting ended up meaning that he was falling on down. By the time he was going in, he was just getting one shot, and that's crazy when you think about how much damage reduction the ultimate offers.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Now, someone else that probably has a very strong opinion about that game as well is Kitty, so let's bring her back into the conversation. And Kitty, what did you think about that 40-minute extravaganza?
Well, I didn't expect Order to go 0. Order was 7-0, and Chiefs still ended up winning, which is what we all thought. But I am excited to bring on the interviewer who... Wait, am I the interviewer?
You are the
interviewer.
Interviewee.
Yeah.
I'm excited to bring up the interviewee who is the substitute jungler for Chovy. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello,
back
am I
to
muted?
OC, Arthur. No, you're not muted.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Okay, well, you played 1 year in the LCK. What's the main difference between LCK and LCO?
The LCO is like kinda like slow, like tempo is like kinda slow, and LCK is like kinda faster compared to LCS, so it's like difference like that.
So the game did go for a very long time. What were your comms like for Ocean Soul?
I mean, we actually giving the soul was mistake. We actually kinda messed up to get better and give soul. It was pretty mistake for us, so we'll take that and get a recover from. Yep.
I mean, you guys recovered pretty well because you guys ended up winning the game.
Yes. I mean, we are like post-com and they need to engage us, so it actually isn't matter to giving Ocean Soul like this kind of game.
Yeah, well, congrats on your first win of the split, and let's head back to Mac.
Always good to hear from him, and I heard that he was a bit of a fiend in interviews in the past, but he stayed very, very safe.
No.
So.
Said he hasn't done interviews in the past.
Ah,
for that reason.
There we go. Either way, he was very happy with that result, and definitely expected. Now, we do have the player of the game, and it may not be who you think. It is the big man Tapoon up in the top lane who kept Chiefs in the game. Yes, his score doesn't look too great there, 0-2-8, but he was doing a whole lot of right things in terms of macro to keep them in the game nice and early, and it allowed them to turn the tides and bring themselves right back in, right, Skimmy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we discussed it on the broadcast as to what these two top laners could offer and why they were so strong in their respective times here. And He showcased it once again, almost like he never left. That, you know, I am a lane bully, I am dominant. The KDA doesn't represent that, but he had a big CS lead. He was able to get multiple demolish procs off and, you know, brought Arthur to that part of the map to say, we're not taking one turret, we're taking two. And that basically became the philosophy of Chiefs' game and the big reason why they had such a strong gold lead, even though they had no kills.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right, Rusty, where sometimes the stats, they might lie. You know, I think like if you've got someone with a really big amount of kills and then they don't have a whole lot of they have kill participation, lots of kills, but the damage share is really low, then you know it's just someone that's coming in and really sort of picking up the scraps, doing the janitorial duties. Whereas, you know, he didn't have great stats in terms of the KDA there, but he still had relatively good participation in every other role.
Yeah, look, stats are honest, but they don't tell stories, right? And the story of that game was he won top lane. It was just that simple. And then they were able to play through top lane, which is exactly what Arthur did. And the game got its lead because of that. And he literally stomped top, man. He almost got solo place, right? From full health. There was a Herald that secured it. So he did his job.
Completely ridiculous. Now, of course, we do have some more content coming in from the fans, coming in from the Twitter sphere. So let's have a look at what's been sent in. It's Chrono Howler at LCO new headphones, cleaned up my beard for the occasion, rocking the C9 jersey because fudge factor, true. After a long day of watching esports, time to watch some more, mate. Thank you very much for sending in some gold quality content. And looks like you're pretty comfy, just chilling on your bed, watching on the computer.
I was going to say, it's okay that he's not smiling because we're on the screen.
Yeah.
But I just need to make sure, like, can we get an update that he's actually smiling when the players are on the screen?
I don't think that's too much to ask for. So if you do want to send in yourself having a very good time and smiling and watching the LCO, that'll cheer Rusty up to make sure he thinks he's doing a good job and keeping that smile on your
I just want him to smile for the players. You can frown at us. It's worth it.
Very true. Very true. Now, if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the competitions and giveaways and even just, you know, the newsletters, type !mail in the chat and that'll take you to a link where you can drop your email and be part of the mailing list and stay up to date with all of that LCO goodness. So not only can you do that, you can go follow the Twitter, you can follow us here on Twitch, make sure you don't miss anything that is LCO related because this is going to be a big year, 2022. It's going to pop off and it's still just day one and we have one more final game for the evening to get to. And of course, I'm excited for it. I know you're excited for it. It's Kanga making their debut here up against Pentanet.
Tally's still receiving some poke. Corporal caught.
Potentially, forced to burn is also there very early on. Deadly Flourish goes out, Biopanther immune level to stage. There's no Solar Flare today. Out goes to Deadly! Oh, it's a Deadly Moonlight Vigil. It finds the kill. Now Tapoon goes in 1v4, knocking on the front door by the wall, but survives because he is an art in Mega. Too much health! In goes Tally. Valkyrie 1 and 2. There's a double, but it instantly gets punished there by Puma. Burns the cleanse, hits the flash, runs away, and says, "Where is my team?"
The pain in my body, the joy is still